Oh, what a glorious day to do some YouTube viewing. Actually, oh, oh shit. Jeez, 42 subs, fucking hell. That's not too bad, is it? Oh, ooh, ooh, oh, whoa, holy fuck. Wow. I'll see how long it's been since my last video. Holy shit. Ooh, it's been a while.
Love is like a fart, Zaid. You try to force it, and it'll turn into shit.
What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the TD Tom YouTube channel. I know it's been a long while, or I'm sorry. It's just I've not been doing much Total Drama stuff since Season 2 premiered over a year ago now. I'm sorry, it's just I just haven't had much interest in it. But since Season 4 of Disventure Camp's currently out premiering, I thought, you know what, why not go back, watch the first 3 seasons, and let's rank the characters. Now, I've already done one for the main Total Drama cast, which has done down pretty well. So I thought, why not do one for Disventure Camp as well? Because for amateur YouTube series, it's really well done. Like, if you're somehow unaware of what Disventure Camp is and you're in a Total Drama scene, go and watch it. It's very good. Season 4 is already it's currently I think about halfway through Season 4 now. As I'm recording, episode 11 came out last night as I'm recording this. So yeah, go ahead and watch it. It's really good. I'd highly recommend it. It's really good. So we've got six tiers, obviously the usual S, A, B, C, D, and F. Got all characters from the first 3 seasons. I want to add first 3 seasons. Obviously, there are no Season 4 characters on this one. Obviously, as I mentioned, we're like halfway through Season 4 already. The characters are still quite new, still haven't been quite fleshed out as of yet. Whereas these guys have all had their time to shine, so I thought it would be the perfect time to go through and rank all the characters. So, without further ado, let's get into it. And by the way, guys, there will be spoilers as well if you somehow haven't watched any of the Disventure Camp. So, first of all, we do have Miriam, the first winner in Season 1. A bit of a shock winner, to be fair, because obviously when you first look at the cast, and you think an old granny, really? Like, you'd be thinking like she might be early elimination fodder, but no, to be fair, she surprised everybody. And even towards the end, you were thinking, just surely she can't win, but she does. And honestly, for me, I think in Season 1 of all things as well, Miriam was probably one of the characters who probably had the most character development. And obviously, she started out as, the miserable granny who hated the young teens and whatnot. And you're thinking, why the fuck is she on the show then in the first place? But as the season goes on and as her relationship with Jake grows, she really does become one of the fan favourites. Honestly, to be fair, I like Miriam quite a lot, to be fair. All Stars didn't quite go as a plan, to be fair. I don't think many of us really thought she would do that too well in All Stars, but I think still getting eliminated quite early was a bit of a shock. But yeah, to be fair, with Miriam, I do like her character a lot. Not quite S tier for me, but I think I'll put her in A tier. Like everyone likes Miriam, to be fair, but I wouldn't quite put her in S tier yet. And next up, though, also someone who I think probably was just written in the show to be elimination fodder, and that's Drew. Yeah, he was only in for a few episodes, to be fair, and his whole character was like he didn't talk. He just wrote stuff down on a piece of paper, which I don't know. I really don't know. I think, again, I'm not calling it lazy, but I do think he was just sort of there just to be, just to like flip the numbers, if you will. Not really someone who you're like, and to be fair, he was literally on. I'm pretty sure he was second eliminated as well. Didn't come back on All Stars. I wouldn't put him as far as I'd put him in F tier because I don't dislike Drew. I just think he was just a bit of a meh character, to be fair. So we'll put him in D for Drew. There we go. Next we've got Oliver. Now Oliver is probably the rare example in this whole cast, as he was both a contestant and an intern, and then part of the production team. So he's pretty much done everything bar probably being the host. He's been around the block, Oliver. I'll talk about him as a contestant. Obviously, he was a contestant in Season 2, obviously for his first elimination. yeah, I think I just think again he was never really written in mind to be a successful contestant. You know, I think he was written to be early elimination fodder, to then come back into being part of the production team, and then growing up through the ranks, helping Crystal, you know, be a good person, you know, balance of morals and ratings and shit like that. So I think again, Oliver's another one who's got pretty good character development, because obviously at the start he was just the kind of, you know, season 1 he was just the intern who didn't have any lines. He was just there to, you know, test the challenges. Season 2, pretty poor contestant, but then, you know, he sort of grows up to be, you know, like the voice of reason, so to speak. Obviously, you know, had the whole thing with Derek and Trevor, where Derek was sort of like the bad guy, if you want to put it like that, and Trevor was kind of more, you know, the voice of reason. I think that's sort of what Oliver plays that role with Crystal, especially season 2, past season 3. Season 3, a little bit more of a backseat role than season 2. But with Oliver, I mean, to be fair, like, I don't dislike the guy by any stretch. He's just a pretty character for me. I don't hate, I don't dislike him. I'll probably put him in C. I like him more than Drew, but he's just, he really made a character for me. Ashley, a character who did better in season 3 than she did in season 1. Obviously, season 1, she was in the whole alliance of Will, Lil, and Nick. Obviously, trying to battle against fucking Fiore in season 1. I was like, that was such a crazy storyline. It really was. Season 3, again, honestly, I just felt sorry for her in season 3, because she was caught in the middle of Jake and Ali's sort of just like weird fucking rivalry thing, which I was just fucking irritating. And again, unfortunately, she was one of the many characters in season 3 who was eliminated because of Jake, who I'll get onto later on. But yeah, with Ashley, I don't know, like she's a decent character. She's not one that I like loads, but I still think she's a pretty solid character. I think BT is probably correct for Ashley. I know people will be like, Ashley should be higher, whatever. But yeah, I think Ashley B tier. Next up, we've got Connor. Connor, one of my favourite characters in seasons 1, 2, and 3. Season 2, he wasn't there for very long. He was booted out in the 3rd episode. Sorry, he wasn't booted out, he voluntarily left. But yeah, you know, he sort of came in as, you know, like the older guy who's trying to, you know, he's going through like a midlife crisis, you know, trying to be young again. It doesn't work out for him, but thankfully he realizes pretty early on that he just isn't meant to do that. All Stars, again, another pretty early elimination, but to be fair, he was pretty much screwed over. You know, he was put on the yellow team, obviously with all the villains on. You know, once Miriam was gone, Connor was pretty much next to go. But you know, he came, obviously, to be fair, that fucking comeback challenge that the losers did. Obviously, Connor's comeback was honestly, it was fucking unbelievable, proper unbelievable. And to be fair, I generally thought he was going to win the season at one point. Unfortunately, broke his ankle, sprained his ankle, whatever, thanks to Rhea. And yeah, he just, you know, he tried his best to continue, just couldn't. And yeah, obviously, to be fair, he ended up finishing 4th. But you know, Connor, you know, again, a character who had some really good character development. You know, he became more than just this old guy trying to, you know, reach out to the youth or whatever. And he became a really strong character. Obviously, his whole thing with Rhea was pretty unfortunate. There was obviously Alec tried his, obviously Alec said he was trying to help him out in season 3, but I think Connor just knew that there was no going back with him and Rhea. And I think once he finally found that out, he really did kick on in the end. And for me, Connor, I think honestly the first S tier character for me. Connor, really like Connor as a character, and honestly he's a guy who obviously in the end got his happy ending. He got married in the end. He's got his business. I think being on the show really just helped Connor, even at his age, his 40s or 50s, however old he is. I think it really just helped him to figure out who he actually was in the end. It was sort of like a second coming of figuring yourself out, which it was a really nice story. And to be fair, Connor, he got a happy ending, which he fully deserved. And for me, he's S tier. Really like Connor. Lil, again, another character who I'm like sort of like, to be fair, you know, she was obviously the Girl Scout leader. Obviously comes in obviously on the purple team. You know, tried to take the role as leader of that team as well. But you know, there's a lot of stiff competition on that team. And to be fair, again, Lil's just another character where you know what? She's not terrible. I just don't really care for her too much. Again, probably another C tier character. I think you'll probably find there'll probably be quite a few C tiers in this video. But for me, I think Lil's probably C tier. Next we got Rhea. Now, you know what? Every show needs a good villain. And for me, Rhea, I think it's a really interesting character arc where she feels as though she's got to be a dick, be a complete bellend just to get anything in this world, which I suppose is fair enough, because obviously it was during season 2 where she kind of came to this realization and then just sort of took it in a stride. Like, it was actually kind of scary how quickly and how easily she became this villain, this character. And honestly, to be fair, I think she played it very well. And honestly, in season 3, from the get-go, like, she was, I mean, to be fair, I'm not here to, like, shit all over the series, because I get, you know, it's not a professional run cartoon company or whatever, Odd Nations, but for me, I think Rhea was probably one of the only good bit of writing from season 3. You know, I think she was the only character where she really wasn't fan service, if you know what I mean. Like the creators didn't feel the need to have to, you know, tweak a character to make the fans happy. Like, for me, Rhea was probably one of the only, like, well-written characters in season 3, along with Connor, and in some parts Jake. I'll get at some parts Jake, obviously, when he wasn't being a complete fucking arsehole. But again, Rhea, I think, you know, she obviously ended up winning season 3, but in the end, it was like, you know, at what cost? You know, she's got everything. Like, you know, she won $3 million. She became this really famous actor, but she had no friends because everyone fucking hated her. And I think it was a good lesson, sort of, like, you know what, you can be successful, you can have all the money in the world, but if you're just not a good person, no one's gonna stick around for you. And I think that was really good writing of Rhea. And as I mentioned before, like, for me, like, she's probably one of the only well-written characters in season 3. So I wouldn't quite put her in S tier, but I think she's definitely a solid A tier character for me. Yeah, really honest, done Rhea. Aiden's next. Obviously, he finished 3rd in season 2, finished 7th, I think, in season 3. I think, if I remember rightly. Yeah, Aiden. I think Aiden's a pretty popular character. Obviously, you know, he's you know, season 2. Obviously, he's a guy who, you know, loved the show. You know, he watched the show, he knows the show off by heart. But he just tries to, you know, he just tries to, like, do his own thing, go his own way, to win. Obviously, you know, he's battling his feelings with James a lot. You know, he obviously grows into these friendships with Lake, Rose and Maria, people like that. But season 3, I think season 3 was more of a testament to see how Aiden would do on his own. Obviously, because James and Lake were the first 2 eliminated in season 3. So Aiden had to pave his own way. And yeah, obviously had a battle with Jake quite a lot early on, had a battle with Rhea at times as well. Yeah, you know, I think we saw both sides of Aiden's character in the 2 seasons he was on, and for me, I think he is one of the more fleshed out characters. And yeah, I mean, to be fair, I like Aiden, to be fair, quite a lot. I think he's a solid character. For me, he's probably another A tier character. I'm a big fan of Aiden. Next, we've got Dan. Again, another character who's just kind of forgettable, to be fair. Like, again, I've got nothing against Dan by any means. He's just there, isn't he? Really, I don't know. He's just a pretty plain character, to be fair. Yeah, again, I don't really like him, dislike him. He's just stood there, and yeah, I'm pretty meh character, to be honest. Dan, I've got nothing to say about him really. Rose and Maria's next. Now, I just recently rewatched season 1 to 3, and honestly, I'll tell you now, I forgot how far Rose and Maria made in season 2. Like obviously, she wasn't in All Stars, which was a pretty shocking admission. I think that's probably the right word to say. And obviously, you know, she made final 5 in season 2. Didn't come back for All Stars. But that's probably just due to the fact that, you know, all the other characters were just, like, you know, had more areas to give. Obviously, you know, obviously Connor was like 3rd eliminated or whatever, and obviously he came back to All Stars, which was a bit of a weird one. Obviously Yule was quite an early elimination. He came back from season 2. So I think just the fact that obviously Yule and Connor clearly had season 3 arcs that the writers were planning. I think it's probably why Rosemary didn't come back for season 3. But in season 2, you know, she was a pretty, you know, she was a strong character. Obviously, you know, she was obviously a mother, you know, obviously on the show, you know, to win money for her daughter to have a better life, to be fair. And, you know, she was a really good character. Obviously made friends with Lake and Maggie quite early on. Tried to befriend Rhea, but obviously was ultimately backstabbed in the end by her as well, which wasn't great. Obviously had her alliances with James, Aiden, as well. So yeah, obviously overall, obviously decent character roles in Maria, to be fair. And I think for me, she's probably a solid B tier character. Yeah, I think B tier is probably suits her up quite well. Obviously, I think had she been in All Stars, I could have maybe put it in the A tier. I think just the fact that she was only in the one season, for me, probably B tier. For Rosa Maria. Tess, another character who had quite a lot of character development. Obviously started out a bit of a loner, didn't really want to be there. You know, she kind of had a bit of depression. Obviously, Hunter and later Ali both tried to bring her out of her shell a bit, and you know, she really, I think she really definitely blossomed a lot more. Obviously, with her friendship with Hunter and Ali, I think I really like them three. To be fair, and obviously in All Stars again, obviously she was separated from both of them, obviously on her own team, so she has to, again, like similar to Aiden, where she had to just go her own way, and also, like, you know, she obviously was friendly with Ellie and Gabby outside of the game, and yeah, you know, she, to fair, it's a shame with Tess. I think in All Stars, I think her elimination was probably about right. I think she probably made it as far as she could have done. I don't think she probably could have made it any further than what she did. But yeah, overall, Tess, pretty solid character, to be fair. I'll probably put her in B tier. You know, she had two pretty solid runs in both the seasons she was in. I think she was a character where she was more than just elimination fodder, but obviously had a bit of story to her. But again, she made it as far as she needed to go, to be fair. I think she was a character which had the perfect balance for me. And, you know, I like Tess, to be fair. I like Tess a lot. I put her in B, in the B tier. I think that's probably a good place for her. Next, we've got Nick. Now, Nick's a weird one, because obviously, again, he was another pretty early in elimination season 1, but he had a bit of meat on the bones, if you know what I mean. Like, you know, there was something about him. And it was weird with Nick, because I couldn't quite tell where he was from. Like, you know, was he British? Was he Australian? Was he Nigerian? Was he putting on an accent to try and sound smarter or more? I don't know. Obviously, with Nick, obviously he comes up from a pretty rich family. You know, obviously made it clear early on that he didn't need the money. I think he just wanted to, you know, he just wanted to, you know, do his own thing. He wanted to step away from his family, try and do something for himself for once. To be fair, it didn't quite work out. Obviously, he was a pretty, you know, he was a guy who couldn't quite control his temper quite a lot. So, you know, quite a reactionary character, which I suppose you probably needed to have. Obviously, with characters like Ashley and Lil, obviously you probably did need a Nick. Try and balance things out a little bit there. I don't know with Nick. I think he probably could have made it a little bit further on than what he did. I don't know. I think Nick's a character who probably could have had more. I think there was more potential with Nick there than what that actually was in the end, which is just a shame. But again, I think CT is probably about right. I think I'll move down to D tier, to be fair. I'll put Nick and CT here. Lake, another character who had quite a lot of character development in season 2. Obviously, season 3, she was a pretty early elimination, which was a shame, to be fair. But I think obviously season 2, you know, she had her arc in a way where she comes from a pretty closed out family. You know, she wasn't allowed to do much on her own. You know, she was told what to do all the fucking time. You know, she had all of her like major decisions made for her, and she wanted to break away. She wanted to do her own thing. And obviously was told, with the influence of Rosa Maria, she became more of a rebellious character, like more like a character who, you know, wanted to do her own thing, but wanted to make her own decisions for herself. And I'm a sort of with Lake, and obviously I think the change of wig as well was definitely needed, because I think she definitely suits the red wig more than the blonde one. Definitely more of her own character, but again, unfortunately, it was eliminated pretty early on. In season 3, which was a shame, but you know, it is what it is with Lake. For me, I'm torn between A and B. I don't know if I want to put an A. I don't know. I don't know if it's quite on the same level as Ree and Aiden. I think BT is probably where I put Lake. To be honest, maybe a high B. Maybe a high B. Yeah, high B. I think high B is good. Hunter. You know, he was sort of like the Duncan in season 2, if you want to put it that way. You know, he's the guy who, you know, he wasn't a bad person at all. You know, he just played the game well. He just did what he had to do to make it further in the game. Obviously, he had the whole love triangle thing with Ali and Tess as well. But you know, season 2, Hunter, he was a strong player, and was unfortunate not to make the final 3, in my opinion. But obviously, you know, James, Aiden, and Rhea for me. To be fair, I think Hunter, again, he sort of missed out season 2, but again, you know, he made it as far as he probably could. And to be fair, I just don't really know what drama Hunter could have brought to the final 3. Obviously, you know, he was focused on winning. And obviously, James, Aiden, and Rhea had their own beef going on between each other, so that was kind of the reason why I think they were the whole final 3. But yeah, Hunter was a strong player in season 2. Unfortunately, season 3 clearly had some issues with Ali outside of the game, which kind of spilled into the game a little bit more. Unfortunately, it was screwed over by Jake. One of many characters who was fucked over by Jake's emotions in season 3. And unfortunately, wasn't early. But again, a pretty shock early elimination season 3. I think most people probably thought Hunter probably would have had another good run. It wasn't meant to be, but I think it probably helped. I think his elimination probably was played in part of Ali needing to, again, another case where a character has to make their own way. I think Ali just needed to become her own character, but just unfortunately, it was just wasted by this fucking argument with Jake 24/7. Just unfortunately, like, if you're gonna eliminate Hunter to allow Ali to do her own thing, then at least make Ali a better character. Than because Ali got worse as over season 3, in my opinion. And yeah, I think just at Hunter's expense just isn't great, to be fair. So, but yeah, for me, I think Hunter's solid A tier character, not quite S tier for me. Again, because of his early elimination season 3, but I think again for me, Hunter's probably a high A tier character for me. Gabby's next. You know, Gabby, you know, weird and wonderful Gabby. You know, she's obviously got all these personalities about her. You know, she can be sane 1 minute and then obviously insane the next. You know, and with Gabby, you know, she was mentally insane at points, but she was a good person. You know, I think season 1, her relationship with Ellie definitely helped her out quite a lot. I think she definitely made it further than what she would have done had it not been for Ellie and being there. And then season 3, obviously, once Ellie was eliminated, obviously Gabby kind of came into her own character. You know, I think she embraced her dark side a bit more often, but actually, you know, it helped in the grand scheme of the game, and unfortunately was eliminated due to a pretty stupid reason. To be fair, you know, obviously her obviously her convincing herself to throw Gret's phone away when in reality it was actually her phone. So yeah, sorry, she forced to throw her phone away for Gret to lose, but actually it was Gret's phone which had her stuff on, which is why she lost. But again, I think it was just another case of her being eliminated at the right time. Season 3, you know, she couldn't make it any further than what she did. And also as well, you know, I liked her friendship with Tom and Tess as well in season 3. I think having more friends outside of just Ellie and Gret, I think definitely helps develop Gabby's character quite a lot. And to be fair, Gabby again, you know, she's a bit insane in some times, but again, solid character. Again, A tier character for Gabby. I really liked her a lot. Next, we've got Gret. Now, Gret for me, you know, I think probably on par with Connor, maybe even more, with having the best character development in the whole series. You know, season 1, she was like, you know, like the mean, like Heather / Sugar type character, where you know, she was just there to win and she would do it at any cost. You know, so she sort of played the role of the villain quite a bit in season 1. You know, but you know, she became quite dislikable at times, well, which was a bit of a shame. Season 3, she came back. She lost a bit of weight. Unfortunately, wasn't in a really strange relationship with Yule in season 3, but You know, like I think season 3 for Gret was more just about learning, you know, again who she is, what she actually wants in life. I think her and Gabby becoming friends as well was a really nice touch. And I think Gret overall is learning to realize that she doesn't have to be liked by everybody. Like, as long as the people she cares about likes her, and the people who matter like her, I think that's all she cares about, to be fair. And honestly, for me, Gret, second person to be S tier. Really like Gret. I think season 3, you know, again, she had a really good run. She made final fight in season 3, but yeah, no, she definitely had a really good character arc in season 3. Definitely a big fan of Gret. Next we've got James. Again, James, another person who had to sort of learn about who he actually was and what actually mattered and what didn't. Obviously, season 2, James, you know, he came in obviously as the influencer. You know, all he cared about was followers and fame, trying to do anything it took to be famous. And obviously, you know, at times like compromised his relationship with Aiden a lot during season 2. But again, you know, I think obviously with Aiden's help, I think James learned a lot about who he was and again what actually mattered. And obviously ended up winning season 2, which was you know, very well earned in the end. I think, to be fair, I think it would have been I think had Aiden and Rhea won season 2, probably wouldn't have been as good. But I think James fully deserved to win season 2. And season 3, first elimination, which was a bit of a shame, but again, because of fucking Jake being a fucking idiot. So unfortunately, James was eliminated quite early on. But again, it could have been a year where you probably weren't expecting James to win, but you're probably expecting, you know, to actually, you know, have a bit more character development. But unfortunately, it wasn't quite meant to be. But yeah, again, I think James, again, solid A tier character. Yeah, pretty good. Actually, we'll put next to Aiden. Why not? Next one, Ellie. Ellie. What do I do with you? Season 1, I think she rewatching season 1, I forgot how late Ellie actually became like a serious contender. Because at the start, it was just her and Alec, you know, having a little bond, which then Fiore then became a part of. You know, it was just them three doing what they could to you know, get further in the game. It was sort of, I forgot how late on in the game it was where Ellie actually sort of became a bit more of a villain. Then season 3, I don't know, I just didn't like Ellie in season 3. I'll be honest. Like, I just don't think being a proper villain suits her character whatsoever. Again, I think she could be a character who has good morals but just does the wrong things. And again, Ellie was a character who did whatever it took to make it far in the game, which is, God, she just became so fucking unlikable in season 3 for me. I just didn't like her. I just thought she was a complete bitch for literally no fucking reason. Obviously, I get you had the whole thing with whole rivalry with Tom on the fucking blue team. I forgot the fucking name. It wasn't Cyan, because that's I think it was Cyan team. And the whole thing with Tom, and again, you know, obviously joining the villains alliance, you know, lying like Gabby. Just, I don't know. I just didn't like Ellie much in season 3 at all. I could tell that just wasn't going to make it very far. I don't know with Ellie. I really don't. I liked the Monty. I liked the Monty season 1, which it wasn't as much of a pain. Do I put her on F tier though? Nah, that's fucking harsh. But I don't know. I don't know. Also, I think I do. I think she goes in F tier. Controversial maybe, but yeah, no, F tier, I think. Also, by the way, I'm not counting any of the spin-offs in this judgment as well, you know, because they're spin-offs, you know, like the Tom Drake, the stuff story. I'm not counting any of those as part of this. Next one, Alec, another character who I'm a big fan of. Obviously, season 1, sort of like the character who, you know, he preferred to lay low a little bit more, but he was clearly like the brains behind the team. I think his whole duo with Fiore definitely worked quite a lot. Obviously, you know, Alec was the brains, Fiore obviously also had the brains as well, but obviously she was willing to take a little bit more credit for it later on as she revealed more of who her true nature was. Unfortunately, Alec in the end was screwed over by Ellie and Fiore in the final four. So unfortunately, he was cut short, which was unfortunate. I think Alec probably would have been a great asset in the final. To be fair, Alec probably would have won season 1 as well had he made it through to the final. I'm almost certain he would have won the season, but it is what it is. Season 3 came back. Obviously, he straight up admitted, right, I need the money. He's just been divorced. His son. Well, obviously, we're assuming his son was nothing to do with him, and he became a bit pathetic at times, I think. But obviously, I think in season 3, I think we saw more of Alec's normal side. Showing more that the fact he does have morals. He saw what was happening. He saw what Connor was doing to himself over Rhea, and obviously tried to help by getting him fucking voted out, which sounds horrible, but I think it probably was the right move. Then obviously trying to set up the villains alliance, obviously didn't quite work out in the end for everybody, but he tried. Obviously he had his own conflicting things with Rhea, which obviously he put to bed quite quickly when Connor came back. To be fair, I think Alec and Connor's friendship definitely, it had its ups and downs definitely, but I think overall it was a pretty strong friendship, which it was very good. I think obviously the more that we saw of Alec, the more that he probably wasn't a villain, but probably becomes more of like an anti-hero more than a villain. To be fair, I wouldn't really call Alec a villain, again, an anti-hero where he was doing good, but for his own personal benefit rather than anyone else's. Obviously, apart from Connor, you could say. But we did see more of Alec trying to better himself as a person. Trying to at least have some good parts of life. And again, obviously, he had a pretty good ending with Fiore. Obviously, again, I don't know if he adopted her or what, or they just remained friends. I don't know. But yeah, Alec for me, the third S-tier character. I really do like Alec. I think he had 2 really good, fleshed out seasons, and yeah, for me, definitely worthy of being S-tier. Now, Yule, for me, the second F-tier character. I know Yule's whole thing was about him being a villain and being quite obnoxious, to be fair, but again, I just didn't really find it too appealing. Obviously, season 3, I'll be honest, season 3, he had his funny moments, to be fair. He was sort of just like the kind of maniac guy who, yeah, he was a bit of a Fruit Loop. Obviously, his whole thing with Gret was just fucking weird. I didn't like that. I didn't like that, really. But I suppose that probably was the only reason for Emily to have her own arc. We'll talk about more later on. For me, Yule, I just didn't like him. Didn't like Yule, to be fair. And I think towards the end of season 3, he sort of realised again, he needs to sort his shit out. To be fair, so I think he realised again, he has to be a better person. Obviously, fame isn't everything. Which, I mean, to be fair, I think at that point his career, I think he also knew his career, like deep down his career was over as well, because yeah, it's not great. Sorry, Yule. Next we've got Will. Literally, I think having the shortest reign of any Disventure Camp character ever, because he was out in the. I'm pretty sure Alessio, season 4, is now beating Will for that statue. But yeah, Will. Again, I don't know if he was meant to be early elimination fodder or not. For me, I think similar to Nick, there was definitely more with Will than what we got. After he was the big city guy, the big buff guy who ended up being a complete fucking pussy. And then after he was unfortunately the first victim to fall to Fiore in the whole season as well. I don't know, Will. I like him more than Drew and Dan. But I think similar to Nick, there was more to Will than what we got, and we probably should have gotten as well. So I'll put Will C tier. I think that's probably like bottom of C tier. I think that's perfectly fair. Next one, Carol. Again, Carol's just a person I just don't really care for, to be honest. I think DT is probably right for Carol. Didn't really like her too much, to be honest here. Obviously, she played the killer in the horror movie challenge, like halfway through, and then obviously was straight away. She got injured, so she had to leave again. So it was just a weird thing with Carol. not a character I'm a massive fan of, to be fair. I think D is probably right for her. Next one, Kai. Again, I think Kai, I'll probably put him the same as Will and Nick. A character who we probably should have gotten more from than what we did. Obviously, he was like the spiritual guy who saw the good in everything. Obviously, had his little outburst with Yule at one point, but to be fair, it was pretty funny. And also, to be fair, his voice acting is very, very good. It's so funny. Like, I don't know, I love this voice actor quite a lot for Kai. But again, I think he's just another character where we probably could have gotten more out from him, to be fair. So I think for Kai, CT is probably about right. And unfortunately, I think Maggie. To be fair, I can't put Maggie in D tier. That's just harsh on Maggie. Again, just another character who wanted to make more friends. I actually did, to be fair, see her whole thing with Lake, Rose, and Maria, and then later on with Kai as well. I think it was good that she found the person. To be fair, I think I've got Maggie. Just another character where you knew that they weren't going to make it very far in the game. Which didn't, but I think again, I think she had a happy ending, so can't fault too much. Now then, haha, definitely the most controversial character in Disventure Camp, the whole fandom, everybody. But like, I think this guy has probably also got the biggest fan base of every character. Jake. Oh. Well, let's start with Jake. Season 1, he was alright. Season 1, he was normal. He had his thing with Tom. Season 1, them two had a pretty steady relationship, which unfortunately ended quite badly. He had a thing with Miriam as well. Like, Jake had good relationships in Season 1 with Miriam and Tom. That's which I think definitely helped them get further into the game. But obviously, as more as the first season went on, the more apparent the fact that he's just a very easily manipulated character. And unfortunately, season 3, that kind of blew out into full proportion. Season 3, Jake was just fucking unbearable. I'm sorry, but he was just not fun to watch. And unfortunately, he was the ultimate cause of so many people getting eliminated in season 3. Ashley got eliminated because of Jake. Hunter out because of Jake. Aiden out because of Jake. James was out because of Jake. And trying to think who else in the end. I think that was everybody. No, sorry, Connor. Although Connor volunteered to leave again, he probably would have been voted out anyway. And it would have been because of Jake. Like, the whole reason why Rhea won in the final challenge was because of fucking Jake and Ellie being season 3, I think with Jake, it was Jake trying to bet himself as a person, but just it was just awful to watch. It really, really was. And I suppose it's weird though, because Jake was probably the most realistic character out of everybody on the show, but he was also the most fucking unbearable one as well. And I know I'm gonna piss a lot of people off here, but I just don't like Jake. I really don't like him. And yeah, it was so weird because in the end I was fucking rooting for him to win. But I mean, to be fair, like him against Rhea in the final season 3 was just like, the worst final 2. And I think with Ali, that's the worst final 3 we've ever fucking had in any drama, reality show, cartoon thing on TV, on YouTube, anything. It's the worst final 3 we've ever had. And yeah, Jake, obviously in the end he got his shit together with Tom and Miriam and patched things up with Aiden and Ali in the end. But God, just a fucking exhausting character, Jake. He really is. Crystal now obviously the host season 2 and 3. Obviously she is canonically in the DC universe, not DC universe, the Disventure Camp universe. Obviously she is Chris McLean's daughter, and again, I think it's somewhere similar to Nick, where she doesn't want to be associated with her family. She wants to be her own person, be known for her own things. And I think season 2 was definitely a big learning curve for Christoph. Trying to navigate stuff on her own. Obviously Oliver being a huge help with her. But season 3, she obviously brought back Derek and Trevor as interns. Obviously her whole thing with Derek was little bit weird as well. Not really anything I was too much of a fan of, I'll be brutally honest. But yeah, overall Crystal, pretty solid character to be fair. I'll put her in A tier. Not too bad about her. Emily, again, a character who was only brought in season 3, and she is currently in season 4 as well as an intern. Brought in clearly as someone, to try and shit stir. I think Crystal realised that, she couldn't shit stir as much as she probably wanted to, so that's probably why she brought in Emily. And then obviously Emily was caught trying to help Yule with, I think, with Gret, and then was fired and then tried to fucking destroy the show with Trevor. It was just it was a pretty crazy season that she had. But again, so far in season 4, she's, doing her own thing. Season 4 as an intern, so. With Emily, I don't know. With Emily, I think I'll put a high C. Actually, no, I'll put a B tier. I think she's more than C tier. I'll put a low B tier. Just the fact that I think there's more. There's more to come. With Emily's character, I'll put Will bottom of C as well. Actually, I'll push this around a little bit more. Yeah, I'll probably move a little there. Yeah, Google that. Now, I think I'll probably rank Derek and Trevor together. Although, yeah, they are their own people. I think in season 3 was for that more often a lot as well. But for me, they're a duo. You can't really separate them out, my opinion. So I'll put them together as a duo. To be fair, I think if you've got to put Trevor as one, you've got to do the same with Derek. And overall, to be fair, they're a very good duo. Obviously, obviously you got Trevor, the good guy. Even the voice of reason. Where you got Derek, the guy he wants to push boundaries. Again, do it, whatever it takes to get good ratings, or whatever. So I think they definitely balance each other out quite well. Do I put them in A tier? I don't know. I don't know. I think season 3 was probably the best we saw of Trevor. Was Derek? I think Derek's best was probably season 1. I'll put them B tier. I'll move them up. I'll move them up. Yeah, I think B tier probably works out best for both of them too. Jensen. I'm just used to calling people Jensen. Obviously, it was only in season 1. He was the guy who Tom was assigned to fucking try and track down more of. Definitely a bit of a shady character because we had a bit of a past, which obviously wasn't really quite developed out. Had a weird crash out in the season 1 finale, but again, just didn't see much of Jensen, to be fair. Again, I think I'll probably put him C tier. Just a character who we didn't really see much of, to be fair. I think he was just the bad, the weird guy. Yeah, put him C. Nina, the weird puppet who had a life of her own. Yeah, rewatching season 2, she definitely had more of a moment in season 2 than season 3. It didn't really occur to me how much of a backseat her and Marcus took in season 3 compared to what they did in season 2. So yeah, I think season 2 was definitely more when Nina shined. Obviously she took control of the challenge for when obviously the whole serial killer thing. Yeah, she was a pretty insane character. I won't lie. But yeah, overall she was pretty decent, to be fair. I'll put a B. And I think probably similar Marcus. I think similar to Derek and Trevor, you're probably gonna put Nina and Marcus as their own duo as well. Again, they're a duo. Again, Marcus is more of like the laid back, casual, voice of reason type character, whereas Nina's definitely more of the wilder one. So I think they do balance each other out quite a bit. Tom, I think for me, Tom, he was just he was similar to Jake, but not as quite flamboyant as Jake, where he was trying to be a good person, but he just let his emotions get the better of him. But obviously, it wasn't quite as bad as Jake was. Season 1, he was obviously the whole spy thing was pretty strange. Obviously, it was the whole mystery behind his character, I suppose. But yeah, I don't know. I think with Tom, again, obviously season 3, obviously it was a whole thing. Obviously, will he ever talk to Jake? His whole friendship with Aiden, which Jake was just fucking annoyed a bitch about. I mean, to be fair, like, I think Tom definitely got more irritating as season 3 went on. I think in the end he probably got as far as he probably could. I couldn't really imagine Tom getting any further than what he did. Again, probably B tier. I'll probably put him. I'll put him B tier. Tom, you know, he was all right for the most part, but again, I think he did. He just could have handled things a bit better. I think. Ali's a weird one. You know, it was season 2. She was, you know, the whole thing obviously was her being in love with Hunter. Obviously, the whole thing with Tess as well. Obviously, you know, she was a gamer. She had about fucking 28 fucking switches. Like, obviously, fucking so many fucking consoles she brought with her. But season 3, God, I think season 3, like, she was, as weird as it sounds, I think season 3 she was just wasted opportunity, which again sounds weird because she made it to the final 3. But I don't know. Like, I think again, if you're gonna eliminate Hunter so early on, it's got to be because, you know, you're gonna try and improve Ali as a character. But for me, the more season 3 went on, just the worse her character got. You know, her whole petty thing with Jake was just fucking. It's just exhausting to watch. You know, again, I think some of the Jake, you know, she was very easily manipulated by Rhea quite a bit, and I think Gret in some parts as well. Just a really frustrating character to watch. Obviously, in the end, you know, she helped Jake out in the final match that could, but God, I think for me, just the fact that season 3 just ruined the character quite a lot, and I think she's definitely better off suited as a group character with Hunter and Tess. I just didn't like Ali in season 3. I just didn't like her at all. And finally, last but definitely not least, we got Fiore. Now Fiore, I think sort of on the polar opposite to Miriam, where obviously, you know, she was like you know, like the little 6-year-old girl, who probably shouldn't have been on the fucking show, but quickly proved that she definitely got brains. And honestly, Fiora was funny in season 1. I don't get who you are. Obviously, you didn't want her to win. I think she was like the Heather character where you didn't really want her to win. But I think she was just really funny. Just at times, you know, because again, after at the end of the day, she was a fucking child who was shouting and swearing and manipulating the game. Like, it's just so funny. Obviously, season 3, I think she was brought back, you know, just to be early elimination fodder, where, you know, she wasn't really there to make it very far, because obviously she had her time in season 1 to shine. But yeah, for me, I think Fiora is definitely worthy of being an A tier character. Yeah, very good Fiora. And there we go. I've been recording for nearly 50 minutes. Jesus Christ, this is gonna be a long video. Hopefully, like, honestly, if you guys have stuck around until now, hats off to you guys, because I was not expecting this video to take this long. I think maybe like half an hour tops. Because I would run over like 50 minutes more. But yeah, that is my final ranking of the season 1 to 3 Disventure Camp characters. Obviously, again, this is my opinion. Mine's going to be different to yours, so please don't have to go me in the comments. I'm looking at you, Jake Stans. Fucking hell, I'm just expecting absolutely fucking fireworks and the fucking thing for them and for you guys. But yeah, that's my take. I'm pretty happy with that overall. Obviously, I had no real idea with what I was going to do going into it, so I'm overall pretty happy with the result. Hopefully you guys like as well. Also, tell me below who's your favourite characters in Disventure Camp. Obviously, who do you guys think probably could have had more of an arc than what they did. You know, just let's have some general chat in the comments about Disventure Camp. I'm definitely gonna start making more content around it, because it's a really good show for what it is. You know, like, again, like an amateur company on YouTube and Patreon. I think it's a really well done show. It definitely deserves all the love as well. And then it actually is inspiring me to do my own thing, which hopefully you guys might see on the channel later on this year. So it should be pretty good. But yeah, that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all next time.